Have you ever found yourself dreaming of mastering a new skill? Imagining how wonderful it would feel to play a song on a guitar, paint a picture that captures a moment, cook a dish that delights the senses, or perform a sport with grace and confidence? Today, I want to share with you my personal journey of learning a new skill and what I discovered along the way. Not just about the skill itself, but about the learning process, about patience, about persistence, and about finding joy in small victories. It all started one evening when I was listening to a beautiful melody played on a piano. The music was soft yet powerful, and it filled the room with a sense of peace. In that moment, I thought to myself, why not learn to play the piano? I had no experience with musical instruments, and to be honest, I wasn't even sure if I had any musical talent. But something inside me felt drawn to the idea of creating music with my own hands, so I decided to give it a try. The first step was finding a teacher. I searched online and read reviews, trying to choose someone who seemed patient and encouraging. Eventually, I found a local teacher who offered both in-person and online lessons. I signed up for my first lesson with excitement, but also a bit of nervousness. I didn't know what to expect. Would I be terrible at it? Would I feel embarrassed? Would it be too hard for me? These were the doubts that ran through my mind. The first lesson was simple. My teacher showed me how to sit at the piano, how to place my fingers on the keys, and how to play a few basic notes. The sound I produced was far from beautiful, but it was mine. I remember the joy of pressing a key and hearing that clear, bright tone. It felt magical. I left the lesson feeling motivated and eager to practice. But of course, the journey of learning a new skill is not always smooth. In the weeks that followed, I struggled with coordination. My fingers felt stiff. I kept hitting the wrong keys. Sometimes I would get frustrated. I would practice a piece over and over, and it still wouldn't sound right. I began to understand that learning a new skill takes time, and that patience is as important as practice. There were moments when I thought about giving up, but I reminded myself why I started. I wanted to make music. I wanted to experience the joy of playing something that could touch people's hearts. So I kept going. I set small goals. Instead of aiming to play a full song perfectly, I focused on mastering a few measures at a time. When I finally managed to play a short melody smoothly, I felt so proud. Those small achievements kept me motivated. Every time I improved, even just a little, it felt like a victory. As I continued learning, I discovered something else. Learning a new skill doesn't just teach you that particular skill, it teaches you about yourself. I realized that I was stronger than I thought. I could handle frustration. I could keep trying even when things were hard. I learned how to break big challenges into smaller, manageable steps, and I learned to celebrate progress no matter how small. This experience made me curious about other skills. If I could learn piano, what else could I learn? I decided to try painting. Now, painting was something I hadn't done since I was a child. I remembered enjoying it back then, but I had no idea if I still would. I bought some basic supplies, a few brushes, some paint, and a sketchbook. I didn't take lessons this time. Instead, I watched online tutorials and experimented on my own. Painting taught me a different kind of patience. Unlike the piano, where I could hear my mistakes immediately, painting required me to slow down and observe. I learned to notice details, the way light falls on an object, the subtle changes in color, the shapes and shadows. My first paintings were simple and clumsy, but with each attempt, I saw improvement. I began to enjoy the process as much as the result. There was something peaceful about sitting quietly, focusing on the canvas, and letting the world fade away for a while. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned from both music and painting is that you don't have to be perfect to enjoy a skill. We often think we need to be good at something to find it rewarding, but the truth is, the act of learning can be deeply satisfying. When I play piano or paint, I'm not doing it to impress anyone. I'm doing it because it makes me happy. It gives me a sense of purpose and creativity. It allows me to express feelings that words sometimes can't. Let's talk about another skill I decided to explore: cooking. I've always enjoyed good food, but I had never really tried to cook anything beyond simple dishes. I wanted to learn how to create meals that were not only tasty, but also nourishing and beautiful. So I started small. I chose a recipe for a vegetable stir-fry. I bought fresh ingredients, chopped them carefully, and followed the instructions step by step. The result was surprisingly good. I felt a sense of accomplishment knowing that I had created something from scratch. Cooking taught me to appreciate ingredients, to experiment with flavors, and to pay attention to timing and technique. I began to see cooking not just as a chore, but as an art. Like music and painting, it offered endless opportunities to learn and grow. Each new dish I tried was a new adventure. Sometimes things didn't turn out as I hoped, but that was part of the fun. I learned to laugh at my mistakes and try again. What I want to share with you today is that learning a new skill is one of the most rewarding things you can do for yourself. It keeps your mind active, it builds confidence, it helps you see the world in new ways, and it reminds you that it's okay to be a beginner. In fact, there's something wonderful about being a beginner. You get to experience the excitement of discovery. You get to surprise yourself with what you're capable of. If you're thinking about learning a new skill, I encourage you to take that first step. Don't wait for the perfect moment or until you feel ready, because the truth is, you'll never feel 100% ready. Just start. Choose something that sparks your interest. It doesn't matter if it's music, art, cooking, a sport, a language, or anything else. What matters is that it excites you, that it makes you curious, that it brings you joy. As you begin your journey, remember to be kind to yourself. There will be challenges. There will be moments of doubt. But each challenge is an opportunity to grow. Each mistake teaches you something valuable. And every bit of progress, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. Let me share a few tips that helped me in my learning journey. First, set small, achievable goals. Big goals can feel overwhelming, but small goals give you a sense of progress. Second, be consistent. Even a few minutes of practice each day adds up over time. Third, find a way to make learning enjoyable. Listen to music while you paint, cook with a friend, join a class or an online community. When learning is fun, you're more likely to stick with it. Finally, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Focus on your own progress and enjoy the process. Looking back, I'm so glad I decided to learn new skills. The journey has not always been easy, but it has been incredibly fulfilling. I've gained not just new abilities, but also a deeper understanding of myself. I've learned that I can handle challenges, that I can be patient, that I can find joy in the journey. And I believe the same is true for you. You have to learn, to grow, to create. All it takes is that first step. So, what skill have you always wanted to learn? What's stopping you? I invite you to think about it today. Make a plan, take action, and remember, the journey of learning is as beautiful as the destination. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope my story inspires you to start your own adventure in learning something new. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and most of all, keep enjoying the wonderful process of learning.